Sparking Zero has officially gotten one of the biggest updates in the game's history, and I wanted to break down and explain why these changes are so important. Now, this isn't a big update in terms of content. It's a big update in terms of what this means for the future of the game and the game's health overall, okay? I do think that this patch is a very good positive change overall. I can understand some people, you know, not liking it or not understanding it. That's what we're going to try to explain in this video on why this is a, you know, good change for the overall long-term health of the game, right? Now, again, I know there's all this stuff in terms of content that we want to see, right? But for now, let's, you know, just have them focus on fixing the main core game and then, you know, do their character drops or whatever for DLC until the season pass ends, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens afterwards. I don't know what else needs to be changed in the overall, like, base of the game to make players satisfied, and unfortunately, I don't think everyone's going to be satisfied ever. It's just not realistic, right? It's never going to happen. They're going to keep implementing changes because this is still, in a sense, a fighting game, right? Nothing like fighters exactly. It's not that, you know, level of like a true traditional fighter, but I'm just saying, you know. So let's go over this. The DP battle changes and the single battle changes have been the main thing people have been criticizing or having a controversial, you know, opinion on. So I wanted to go over, you know, some of the responses from people. So DB Game News, shoutouts to Kelber. He says, this is such a controversial change. What do you guys think about it? Okay. Now, at first glance, when you do see it, this is before we've tried it out and people have, you know, experienced it and tried to understand what this actually does. So basically, DP battles are pretty much the same kind of unbalanced mess. They actually doubled down on it being unbalanced. So it's like, it was already unbalanced. Now it's like even more unbalanced, right? So basically it's the same for the most part, right? It's still, you have your Cybermen versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta will beat your fucking ass. That's basically, you know, the situation. It's still the crazy stuff, right? Now, with single battles, that is the big thing. This is actually something that a lot of people have wanted from the beginning. And this is the single battle change, I would say, is more for people who play, you know, ranked mode, or who just don't want to see the same 3 fucking characters all the time, right? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Ultra Instinct Goku, you know, fusions and Goku, basically, for the most part, right? You know, those are, I feel, are the characters that people gravitate towards the most because they are the strongest, right? So when it comes to, you know, single battles now, basically what this means, it says remove the damage scaling based on DP in single battles in all modes and adjusted health values so that all characters have the same health, okay? So basically what this change does is it's balanced to the point where everybody does the same damage and everybody has the same health, right? Before, you had a character like, for example, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who's going to have more health than a Cyberman, right? That is apparent when you go into DP battle, or, I mean, for me, I'll show you guys, I went into single battle offline, as me being an offline player, and everything is still exactly the same for the most part. Like, I literally did a battle where I was a Cyberman, and I fought Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and he just has more health, and, you know, he's going to do more damage overall, right? But for single battles, for those of you that don't want to deal with that shit and you just want to be able to use your favorite character, like, that's the main thing about this. That is a good change, is that people who play ranked or whatever, or just single battle in general, just this specific single battle mode, right? You can be able to use any character you want without having to worry about, oh, well, this is kind of unfair because the guy that I'm fighting has more health than me. If I want to use, for example, like Videl or like Android 18 or, you know, Krillin, like a human character, right? And I want to fight a big-ass, you know, Super Saiyan 15,000 Ultra Instinct Kaioken Blue Goku, right? At least we'll be on equal terms in that aspect. It's just all boiling down to who is the better player, right? I think that's how it should be, and that's how it should have been for people who are playing online with ranked mode, right? When you implement a ranking system, it should have at least some type of balance for that nature, and that's what a lot of people have been asking for. Like, it shouldn't be, oh, well, let's have, you know, Beerus beat the shit, one hit KO, right? For Yajirobe or some shit like that, right? And I understand there is the argument that basically people were saying like, well, also I like to use this character that's really shitty. I don't want to say really shitty, but like a really weak character and challenge myself to beat like a top level player using Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or something like that. It's like, you can still do that with DP battles, right? DP battles, all you have to do is just do 1v1 DP battle, right? It doesn't have, like, DP battle is a team-based thing, but like you can just set it to have one person versus one person. Like, it doesn't have to be a full team, right? And that's what Creeps was talking about. He said, saw some people getting really worked up about this in reference to the changes, right? Don't worry, anime accurate scaling for damage. So the original Tenkaichi style, why the game is so, you know, what people love about the game, right? The anime accurate scaling for damage and health isn't exclusive to DP battle. You can play 1v1s on team battle too, right? It isn't the end of to the Tenkaichi gimmick you think it is, right? So I think that is a good change overall for that, right? This person said, I think they should have made it easier to understand. Singles is actually a new feature that wasn't in this game before the patch, before there was only team battle and DP. I'm pretty sure singles was always a thing, right? Unless I'm stupid. Again, I don't mess with the online or anything, but I'm just reading some of the responses from people. But yeah, you can still do your, you know, 1v1 broken, unbalanced mess, right? So this was in response to the controversial change, right? Dotto said, nothing controversial about it. This was the right call from the beginning. The game can actually have a half-decent matches in 1v1 mode now with decent character variety, okay? And somebody says, in ranked, yeah, but honestly, in reference to QP, it isn't certain things like differing health pools kind of the point of the game. I mean, it's a party game. And that's the thing, like, people are going to have different perspectives on this game as well. But again, Dotto does say, and this is what we explained earlier, they still have the effects in DP where it can be enjoyable. Singles, though, there's just no need for it. It's never going to be fun there, and if you want to do it anyway, you can run 1v1, like, team battle, right? So, yeah. That's the main situation. I would like to get your opinions on it, what you think about this change. I think overall, for the health of the future of the game, this absolutely should have been a change, or not even a change, but something that was supposed to be in the game from the start. But you can tell that that wasn't their focus. Was let's just appeal to what Tenkaichi fans like. Big roster, huge ass roster with, you know, crazy unbalanced characters. That's how it's always been, right? But then it's like, you also have to take in consideration, okay, we're adding an online mode and a ranked mode, and it is still considered a fighting game. And you know how people are, the modern age, right, of people who play fighting games, right? It has to have all these balances with it, right? Even though, like, we don't live in 2005, 2006, 2007 anymore, okay? These games can get updates, and they will get updates, okay? If there were things that were bad about, like, the first Tenkaichi, they try to fix it in the second one and the third one. Obviously, I'm not talking about balances necessarily, because it's still, you know, unbalanced in Tenkaichi 3, because that's just how it's supposed to be, right? That's just why we enjoyed it, right? But it's just, those games are still, it's just a different, you know, environment with gaming now. Like, that's just how it is. And I'm not trying to say, like, or make excuses like, oh, well, you know, they can just always change it in the future, right? And it's like, oh, this is something that should have been in the beginning, right? It's like, hey, it's here now, right? If you fuck with it, awesome, enjoy the game. If you don't fuck with it, don't play the game, right? That's it. That's all. That's the end of story right there. Like, there's nothing more. Like I said, people are never going to be satisfied with changes of this game. And again, I know the big major thing is, oh, we need, you know, actual content and stuff, but I'm just going to be 100 with y'all. All right, so fucking for real for now. Sparking Zero is never getting back up to where it was when it first came out. It's just not happening. And it's not even going to get back to a fraction of that. There's like, what? Max, I think I saw on Steam. And again, Steam is not, it just shows a general trend, right? So Max, I think it was like 1,400 players or whatever, which it just, you know, it fluctuates up and down with that. And it's like, dude, if you can find matches, right? And you're enjoying the game, right? And it's still getting updates. They're still listening to feedback. These are all things that they listen to feedback. They even said on the patch notes or whatever, I think at the end or something, they said, according to all the feedback, these are why we are implementing these changes. They're not just doing random shit for no reason, right? These are all things people have been asking for. Okay, One thing about Spike Chunsoft, I'm not talking about Bandai, I'm talking about Spike Chunsoft specifically, is this development team, which I don't know how big it is, okay? I feel like it's a smaller team than what people think. Who knows? They have been very, very good about feedback. And Bandai's included in that as well, okay? Oh, he's a Glazer. He's sticking up for Bandai. Fuck Bandai. It's like, dog, they have implemented a lot of changes because Bandai Namco is the fucking publisher, so they still do have to forward feedback over, right? And things that would help this game, genuinely help this game, right? Or stuff like crossplay. That would be huge, right? Let's get all the players together in this game for every console and be able to have matches with whoever the fuck we want without having to be restricted to a specific console, right? Modern games these days, if they're gonna have a multiplayer, especially a fighting game like that, crossplay is very important thing, right? I don't know if or when they would ever implement a change like that, but that's a huge thing as well. I saw somebody talk about, and I saw it in my replies, I don't remember who it was, and I do apologize if I don't remember, okay? They said something about offline, okay, where it was characters don't transform like they used to or whatever, and it's like, I'm not exactly sure what the situation is with that, but that's another change that people have been asking for. I've seen more than just one. I've seen like a couple few people asking for like, why don't they when you're doing like a CPU battle, I guess, why are they not transforming? Okay, I get, Xenoverse has that problem, right? So I totally get that. I totally understand. So that's like another change or whatever. I'm trying to think of like what else they could do of just like, basic things, not in terms of, again, we've gone over a million times what they need to do for content, okay? I think the major thing is, I'm not saying go towards it being 100% live service, but if they want to keep the game active, right, they need to do what they already have a mode in there that at least kept it active and maybe revamp it and make it better, right? That, what is it? Legendary Warrior Face-Off. That is a perfect mode, right? It's basically a raid mode. And what they need to do is revamp it to where you can play it with other people online, right? Make it, in a sense, like a raid. And I'm not saying it be necessarily like, oh, it has to be like a tag team battle. If they can do that, like if they can implement the tag, I mean, yeah, that actually would make sense, right? You tag out with other characters. But I'm not talking about necessarily like a 2v2 or like a 3v3 or like a 3v1 type of thing. Like, I don't know if that's something that they could implement. If they could, great, right? That would be awesome if you have like your 3 characters, but I feel like it would just get too chaotic and it would just like blow the game up, right? Because of just how Sparking Zero is with the effects and it's like so fast paced and everything. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work, but I think it would be fair to do like what the 3 idiots did, right? They did their own raid boss mode, which they were able to swap between because you have 3 characters on a team, right? Versus Broly, for example. So you'd be able to swap between those, right? And when you switch between each character, it's just a different player, right? So for me, I would be like, for example, like my brother and my best friend, okay? We're fighting Broly. I'm playing as Goku. My brother plays as Vegeta. And my buddy, my best friend, plays as, I don't know, Krillin or some shit. Just like some random character, okay? So if I want to tag out, I'd be like, all right, tag out. And then you tag out for them and then they can play, right? So it gives different variety for each person's playstyle in a raid boss type of mode. And then you also give actual decent rewards. Not this shit where, I mean, that's fine if they want to do Zenny or whatever, but there has to be an incentive to, okay, if you're giving us Zenny, so you do grind it out and you get a lot of Zenny, they open up the shop with new items that you can buy with the Zenny, okay? And I'm not talking it needs to be some shit where it's like, oh, it's TP medals or STP medals, right, in Xenoverse 2, where you got to spend actual real fucking money for that shit. That's stupid. I think that's fine if they want to have an option where it's like, just keep this currency as just straight Zenny, and if they'll have like a microtransaction option for people who's like, okay, if I don't want to grind this, I can just buy it, right? I can just buy the Zenny with real money. But you can still grind it, right? That's always a good aspect about Xenoverse 2 that I did like, was that you can either grind for this shit, or you can just do the buy it, right? That's fine, whatever, right? Because it's optional. Not everybody has to do that. And people are gonna be like, oh, I don't want to go towards a live service, right? Fuck that, it's garbage, blah, blah, blah. It's like, whatever. It's like, that would save the game, though. That is an incentive to get people playing the game again, right? I'm not saying it's going to get back up to 120,000 players on Steam or whatever. It's unrealistic. It's never going to get back to that point, right? But at least get enough players back in, implement crossplay so that players can just fight other players depending on, so that you're not restricted and it's going to be less players on a certain console, right? Like, these are all excellent changes that they need to do. And again, I have the Bandai Namco contact. You can forward all that. It's always there for you guys, okay? I'm just mentioning ideas that I think would help the game overall because it's going in a good direction right now. Every single patch or update, they've done things for the most part, because I already know they're going to be like, well, they make it shittier or whatever. And I'll be real, there were some things that I think kind of got messed up after this update. And I would like to know what you guys have to say about it so that maybe I can at least, if these are like small changes, I'll try my best to forward it directly to Bandai, right? Again, I don't have any influence or anything. I really don't, okay? But just like you guys, we can all forward the information. I'm just trying to make this video so that it's easier for us to kind of figure out, all right, what needs to be really like fixed, like genuinely. And if it's like small changes that it's like, oh, well, this kind of broke. Like, for example, Goku Mini, for some reason, he has an extra slot that's Goku Kaioken Blue. Okay, some of you guys have a different character on it. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. You can't use it or you can't do anything with it. But I'm just saying, like, that's like a thing that, you know, needs to be fixed, right? And it's not breaking the game or anything. I'm just saying, like, just, you know, get that out of here. We don't need that. Okay, but that's like a nothing thing. That's like a nothing burger situation. Like, who cares? If they fix it or not, it's not going to change anything. I saw some people say, like, the audio doesn't sound as crisp as before. I saw something about that. So if that's the case, you know, we got to, you know, forward that over and fix that. You know, again, the person that said the character's not transforming, that could be an easy change for CPUs. Like, they should transform, right? So that's another thing. Like, yeah, other than that, I mean, again, content-wise, stages, customization, all that, feel free to forward that over. But I'm just saying, I'm not expecting them to add that because the last pack that we're getting is specifically just called the character pack. So it's not happening. Like, I'm tired of getting my hopes up for it until we'll see what happens post-season pass. And if they want to do a free update or whatever it may be, right? But yeah, again, overall, I think this is a great change. You can still do your broken, unbalanced stuff with DP battle or the 1v1 team battle thing. And in single battles, if you're playing ranked 1v1 with some motherfucker, it'll be fair, right? You can use any character you want. And I love that. I love seeing and hopefully seeing more diversity of characters. I know people have their like 3, maybe 4 characters that they like to main, right? And that's fine. But maybe this will give you the opportunity to try someone new and not just choose, you know, the same characters you always do, right? Each character does, in a sense, play similar but different, right? The gameplay overall is similar, but each character has different mechanics. They have different techniques, animations. Use them. You have 200 plus characters. Use all the characters, right? That's the main selling point of the game. Like, you have so much variety and people still sticking to the same 3. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe here on the channel, ring my notification bell. Again, you have control over what you can forward over to Bandai themselves on their Bandai Namco contact. It helps out. They listen. They're listening right here, okay? Y'all have a great one. All I want is for the future of this game and the health of this game and people to be as happy as they possibly can. Not everyone's going to be happy, but it is what it is. All right? Peace.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.